I recently met a family here in this graveyard, and we buried the ashes of one of their family members who'd died. We remembered her, what her life had been about, other members of the family, and we talked briefly about their family now, where they were, who they were, what they were up to. While I was here, I met another man whose wife's funeral I'd taken fairly recently. He was visiting her grave and tending it, remembering her. He told me about his life now, how he's got back to work and valuing the chance to get back to something of what his life was like before she died. He told me how he was looking after all that was dear to her, tending the garden that she'd loved and their pets. There's something natural about a graveyard, often something peaceful and rightly quiet and still. It's a place for remembering and a place for love. It's a place for letting go, but also a place for holding on. In the first stories of the Bible, we read, "The Lord God formed the man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. The man became a living being, and the Lord God planted a garden." Then sometime later in the story, God spoke to the man and said, "By the sweat of your face you will eat bread, until you return to the ground, for out of it you were taken. Dust you are, and to dust you shall return." The people who told those stories originally, and have remembered them, know a thing or two about the human place within creation, about the fleeting nature of life. They knew that gardens were places of death, the cycles of nature, of birth and life and death. And they knew about new life and something of the meaning and purpose that could be found in life before and after death. Lent begins on Ash Wednesday. Sometimes people have a cross put on their forehead, made out of the ashes from having burnt last year's palm crosses. And as that cross is placed on people's heads, this prayer is said: "Remember that you are dust, and to dust you shall return." Then another prayer is said as people are blessed: "Turn away from sin and be faithful to Christ." In other words, live a good life. Lent is a time of remembering our own mortality. Not to be morbid, but to be honest about what life really means. It's a reminder to value every day of life and to treasure what's important. Good food, rich wine, foreign holidays, family gatherings. We've all been learning during the pandemic that beans on toast with children and grandchildren over Zoom can be a really precious experience, however much we might wish it were different. There's a story from the life of Jesus that he went deliberately, led by God, into the desert, and he lived in the dust, and he fought the devil. It's a story about being tested, about valuing what's important, about making decisions to live your life according to those simple values of what you hold dear, and making a decision about what you will do in your own life. That's what Jesus did as he wrestled in his own desert experience. The story goes that Jesus came out of the desert ready for the greater task of speaking up for what he believed in, being prepared to face the consequences, because for him it meant persecution and eventually being wrongly accused and hung on a cross to die. Part of the central story of the Christian faith. Dust we are, and to dust we shall return. But it's that bit in the middle that life is all about. That's our life, and life is for living, for valuing, for treasuring, for celebrating. Lent is a time of self-examination, of examining that bit between "from dust you were made and from dust you will return," and living it as fully and as well as possible. Here's a prayer I've come to value. It comes from the Northumbria community. Teach us, dear Lord, to number our days, that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom. O satisfy us early with thy mercy, that we may rejoice and be glad all of our days. And let the beauty of the Lord our God be upon us, and establish thou the work of our hands. Listen to your life. See it for the fathomless mystery that it is, in the boredom and the pain of it, no less than the excitement and the gladness. Touch, taste, smell your way to the holy, hidden heart of your own life. Because in the last analysis, all moments are key moments, and life itself is grace.
When troubles come and my heart burdened be, then I am still and wait here in the silence until you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be.